What is up, everybody? It is I, Triz. That's my stage name. As far as my artist title is Kappa Karma. Basically, I run a YouTube channel and an artist title called Kappa Karma, and a YouTube channel called Kappa Karma Muse, M-U-Z-E. And today we're doing something different. Usually I do mixes and just not really talk to the audience and give you an idea of what my direction is or where I'm going with things. So today we're going to explain, what my direction and vision as an artist is, and the unfortunate, most people, ask me, hey, because I got a mix deck, you see it right here and all, but a lot of people say, hey, I want you to DJ this song, like this country song, or I want you to DJ this popular indie song, or I want you to. The thing is that this is also a disclaimer video too. I'm stating that I'm not really a DJ. I prefer to be considered an artist. Audio mixing, supersonic architect type of artist. A lot of things we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be playing some loops that I've made. Recently, I've been mixing a lot of loops that I purchased on Splice or another news site called Ghost Hack, which I purchased a 2019 producers pack, and I didn't use the MIDI chords out of that pack, but I used all the loops that they provided to me with that pack. And I also have a bunch of other loops that I've acquired over a period of time. But today we're going to be, just messing around, and explain that I'm not a DJ. That's why on my channel, my YouTube channel, I took off the actual name DJ. Because, like I said, I don't want to be considered a DJ. I want to be considered a artist, an audio mixing artist, not somebody who's going to sit there and play David Guetta or Deadmau5, which I do respect both of those artists very much, but because I respect them, I'm not going to sit here and post thousands of videos of small or big mixes of people who spent hours and lots of money, invested time to mix their work. That's just not right. So a lot of what I do is I like to mix loops. Let's give an example. This loop here is a beat loop. It's your simple beat loop. It's about 9.2 seconds long, and this will give you an idea, a base idea. Because when I start mixing anything, whether it's my produced loops or other loops that I purchase off other accounts like Splice or GhostHack, this is how I start my process. And remember, every time I mix, it is always improvised. I never plan, or mostly I even if I usually don't plan my mixes, it's sometimes can be better, but usually it's mostly better that way. So here's a simple beat loop. It's about 7 beats per minute. It's usual, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. I'm not really good at counting beats, but here's what it normally sounds like. Here. This is your average speed and how long it lasts. See, something simple like that. And after about 9.2 seconds, it stops. Now, that's what makes mixing loops so much more complex. And that's why sometimes when I do mix loops, I might screw up because I'm actually using a 4-channel mixer. It only has 2-channel. I switched from channel to channel on both decks, so I only have like 2 volume faders and stuff like that. I don't have an entire 4 volume channel fader on this, or volume pan on this mix deck. But anyways, back to the loop. The reason why I like loops and what makes it so interesting to be more creative than just mixing dead mouse or whatever artists people want to hear, or techno artists like Charlotte D. Whitty. This is what it would sound like if I were to repeat the loop by looping the loop. It sounds funny by saying looping the loop, but the thing is this is how the loop continues, and you can just build and branch off of other loops. It's kind of like inspired by the artist Elton 11, where he, this duo band, a drummer and a guitarist, he would loop his guitar tunes and make songs out of them. That's pretty much the idea we're working on. So here's the loop again, and it's, like I said, it's about 9 or so seconds long. We're about to reach the end very soon. In 3, 2, 1, and it repeats itself. It just goes on and on and on. So I have to sit there and fade it like this with the crossfade and the filter and stuff. Stuff like that. So that is a major idea of what I'm doing, So how do we branch from there? Well, the other problem I have is when I'm mixing, I want to change genres or use a different playlist of loops. Sometimes the loop I'll be using will be repeating itself for quite some time before I can find the next, loop or genre loops to mix. So here's a genre or a playlist that I've been working on. Another thing I like to, so let's just start this loop again. Okay. And let's just start building some. So I'm adding this gear upset that I've collected off of my Logic Pro X program that I created. I'm going to add some little effects to the beat to make it more interesting. So then, I also use these, I don't know what they're called, they're like risers or something, but I have that, and another one is this. These are small samples. And this one I use a lot. And the idea of using those 4 samples that I've created is like this. So let's turn off that for a minute. And this is basically how my workflow of creating music or mixes goes. We got that going. when I get done mixing, I love to add that feedback by stopping the actual loop and having like an echo, delay effect, and even a distortion. When I turn off the distortion, it's not so as ambient of a delay, but that is basically how I go about, and I just make it up as I go along. It would probably be a lot more professional if I had a plan. But there's lots of other loops that I made. Like I made at least 1 minute or longer loops in here, like this one, are really ambient and just kind of weird. I wouldn't say that I'm inspired to be like a certain artist, but if I had to compare myself to an artist, there's an artist called Boards of Canada, and they have some really unique ambient and chill, really unique sounds. It's not. I'm not saying don't listen to Boards of Canada. If you do, that's great. Some people have their own taste. Like some people listen to hip hop a lot. Some people listen to classic rock, which I adore classic rock. Jimmy Page, Edge, Jack White. He's not like I think classic rock, but still, here's an ambient sound that is really off the unique chart. Like it's really out there. And the actual loop is a MIDI synthesizer on my Logic Pro X program called I think it's called like extraterrestrial presence, but I renamed it while mixing this so ever extraterrestrial presence. It is pretty out there. And like I said, I love when I finish mixing, or I love to add that extra feedback by adding echo, delay, and distortion on my effects channel. Um, so that is I just always liked artists with delay. Like I don't just listen to electronic music solidly. In fact, the first music I ever started listening to as a child was I grew up with bands like heavy metal bands or hard rock bands like Korn, Slipknot. I dived into the death metal trend. I listened to bands like Bloodbath, and I've always liked repetitive music, so that's why I started off with heavy metal. I've heard of non-heavy metal music, like there's an artist that I like to listen to called Pelican. Is they're a post-metal instrumental metal band. They have no vocals. And so I've always liked their songs where they had a lot of delay in the guitar sound, I could just sit there and just to have that delay there and make it part of the, spectacular sound. I think this is the actual sound I'm looking for. I have thousands and thousands of loops that I acquired over the years, paid for a lot of them. Some of them I found, if you want to try this, this mixing loops instead of mixing somebody's hard-earned and hard worked on music, plus, whether you buy it or pirate it or, whatever, but, try mixing loops and see where that takes you. You don't need much to start mixing loops. My MacBook Pro, it's a 2009. It's 2020 for God's sakes. My mix deck was only like, at the time when I got it, it was only $200 to $300. And really, you don't have to have a set of cheap speakers that I have. This one, it was a gift. But you don't have to have. I mean, my speakers were only about $30, and they're not studio quality speakers. My mic wasn't studio quality, but I didn't. I just wanted to get an entry level setup here, and it's a mess around with that. But try mixing loops. If you have a small setup, it's really really fun and really more creative than mixing someone's hard-earned music. Instead of you don't want to. Well, I don't want to sit there and spend a good $100 or $40 to $50 on a loop sample pack. What I started doing because I was broke is I would look for royalty-free loops that you can add. Like if you're a YouTuber, you can add these to your YouTube videos, and there will be no copyright strikes. That's half the reason I started mixing loops, because I wanted to go live on Facebook, and Facebook does not like it when you play someone else's hard-earned, copyrighted music, and that's what I just don't prefer to do. I made a YouTube video of me mixing copyrighted music, and it wasn't what I really wanted to do. I did it because people were just begging and pleading, please mix this, please mix that. So I wanted to throw something out there and actually the funny thing is on my channel, it's the most viewed video. The most viewed video. So this video is just to give you more idea of what I'm really about. I mean, I'm really about just mixing loops that I probably created. That's what I'm going to start working more on. The stuff that I've created. There's other things. Where is it? Here it is. There's other stuff that I like to do, I don't know if I'm going to get copyright strike with this, but we'll set something up right now, something that we can play around with. I also like to mix with other beats than just, just constant headbanging, techno music beats that I always use in my 90% of my loops. Sometimes I forget to turn off the beat to give the audience a break of just constant beating of music. So, where is it? Oh, here we go. Cue Fluffy. And once again, I'm also not just interested in just music or movies or visual arts or all kinds of things. I also like a little bit of comedy. I'm really into Fluffy. If you all know who Fluffy is, Gabriel Iglesias, he's a phenomenal comedian, downright phenomenal. So, I mess around with samples that I've acquired under circumstances that I will not explain, but to give you an idea that I like to do other things that are fun and interesting. Let's turn this down a bit. I also have a bad habit of cranking up the volume on my loops or what I'm mixing, because by the end of the mix, it's everything is cranked up to the max. So let's give this a try. So this is a song that I made in inspiration of Gabriel Iglesias, aka Fluffy, and one of my favorite videos or sets he did was the Magic Mike video. That was the most hilarious, video he's done by Fluffy! So I've acquired these audio files in circumstances I want to explain, and I like to use a lot of cue points. I use at least 4. On my software I use at least 8, and I mix around with Fluffy, Fluffy! I'm the guy. Fluffy! I'm the guy. And he brought him inside the house and said all the actors are this one, it's I don't know where I found this, but I think I found the video on one of the adult some off the air videos.
A shot Boucher. I need a shot of Boucher. Boucher? Yeah, Boucher. If I could. Okay, are you gonna come in later? Yeah, I'm right. Boucher. Okay, are you gonna come in later?
Fluffy's killing fishes. Fluffy's killing fishes. Fluffy's killing fishes. Fluffy!
So I don't just mix loops that I made. I also like to acquire files. I mean that's the whole radical idea about this whole vision that I have for this artist title. Of course, it's called Kappa Karma. People are like, are you Triz and that's your artist title, or is it just Kappa Karma? Well, I mean every artist, like U2 or I'll just use U2 for example. Every artist has like a stage name, somehow a nickname that was acquired to describe himself. Like there's Bono, Edge, and so on and so forth. So if I had a stage name, my stage name is Triz, Triz, and I just pronounce it Triz. My artist title, every time you want to hear my music or see my mixes, it is called Kappa Karma. And basically, Kappa is, I'll spell it because sometimes nobody knows how to spell anything with autocorrect these days. Kappa is spelled Kappa, and then Karma is Karma. It's simple. And I wanted something that, I know what Kappa means. It's the 10th letter of the Greek alphabet. Why I chose it? Well, because I wanted a name that was simple, easy to spell, and hopefully easy to remember. Considering the name Kappa Karma is a two-word phrase. Well, I'm just fucking around. Two-word phrase, and basically, I wanted something that was easy to remember, easy to spell. I mean, Kappa Karma, the name itself, has 4 A's in it, and 2 K's, so it should be easy to, to spell and stuff. So let's look around for some other loops and stuff. Let's play some loops that I've actually purchased on several. I've used Splice, which I was not too very happy with Splice because I wanted to get a bulk amount of loops when I want to go for a genre. And over the years, I've been searching from genre to genre. Here's one of my favorite genres. It's the actual. It's basically some kind of dark techno. So I start off with a simple beat. Sometimes, the thing about some sites is they don't label their loops in a way that it's easy to differentiate one loop from the other. So, Ghost, I recently purchased a producer's bundle from a website called Ghost Hack. And people hey, purchase samples from Ghost Hack. And it sounds like they want, are you trying to set me up to get hacked by a ghost or something? But still, I purchased a bundle off Ghost Hack, but these loops, they're not properly named, and Ghost Hack does a wonderful job of naming each individual loop so I can differentiate the one loop from the other, so it's easier to mix. But this is one of my favorite loop packs. I go to this every time I want to just mess around on a mix deck. And it's pretty much some kind of dark techno or something. But let's start it off here. To give you an idea of how my workflow actually happens. So that's a beat. And it repeats itself because, I repeats itself because I turned on the loop. Whoa, turn it down there. So we get that going. We also add some bass there. It's like setting up an actual band. Drums, bass, guitar, synth. That's 4 members, and I got 4 tracks that I can use. So let's use the popular, my most favorite bassist on this channel. Something like that. Something, that is unheard of. An idea that I'm sure some other artists, they make 3 sections of blues. So that gives you an idea how I build and build and build a song into a mix. Now the thing about these loops though is they're not like your normal songs. I've mixed songs that I've recorded, and to be honest, it is quite dull and boring. I can't imagine how people really enjoy mixing, other people's stuff. But, this is not exactly perfectly legal, but I can't see how they'll enjoy it, because when I mix music that I made and just play a song back to finish, or try to mix it with another song, it's like I'm bored up here. This is why I like mixing loops, because I'm constantly busy. The loops average between 10 to 15, even 20 seconds max. And I like to be busy up here. And when I see people sitting there just pretending to be busy, whether I'm pretending to turn up the volume or turn down, I like to be real. Something people can like, wow, that's cool. You mean that's not David Guetta or Dead Mouse or something you just made up? That's the idea of my creativity. I want to be a little bit more out there and more different, more creative, rather than, I'm going to mix some David Guetta. We'll see. Phenomenal artist. And Dead Mouse has the best in-home studio pretty much in the world. So shout out to him. I'm not gonna sing heavy metal to you, but I do like making heavy metal songs. I have recorded very maybe 1 or 2 actual heavy metal songs where I sang heavy metal music with my voice. Yeah, but still, moving on. So I have all these other loops that I purchased recently. I keep mentioning the Ghost Hack 2009. I know it's 2021, but I can't afford every single producer bundle. But there's lots of other stuff like vocals. Let's go to feature house and bass. And let's start. Here's an idea of what paid production vocals are, or paid production loops are. See, sometimes I can get lost finding actual loops to work with. You know, it's a bit overwhelming with like these little playlists I make of certain like melodies, bass, drum rolls, and certain stuff like that. So let's get a quiet beat going here. Actually, we'll use, instead of using the last beat that I used, we'll use an actual future house and drum beat. Alright, check it out. So we start off with a beat, you know, it's like a 4-person band using a 4-channel mixer. We got a beat, that's a drummer. Yeah. Then we add a melody of some kind. That would be like your guitarist, I guess. Here we go, let's just find something random. Sometimes I get confused with which one's zero. Something like that. So that's your melody. What this is preferred to be called a harp. ARP is Kappa Karma. So we already got two channels going. The beat. So this is your arp. This is your arp on clean. Add those two together. Now get ready for the bass. So now we got 3 people in the band. You know, we just got our 3 instrumentals. What do we got next? Well, we got vocals. There we go with the vocal. Here we go. Cool. Probably a lot more, you know, like, hey, maybe we could do something with this kind of idea, you know, mixing loops instead of like, oh, here, let me go rip a song off the internet so I can mix it and make music. I mean, that is very popular. There's a lot of remixes, you know. There's remixes of Lady Gaga and stuff, probably ones that she mixed with other artists. But me, I want to be a little bit more out there, something closely different, you know. So there's all. Let's listen to more some actual. Yeah, let's go back in time when I first started making music on Logic Pro X on a different MacBook. It was my first one. This is my second one. It's funny how I got an older MacBook. But you know, hey, I'm broke, so I can't sit here and spend $5,000 on the one that I would really like to have, and I'm just broke. You know, I got $1 in the bank as of now, in fact. So, not that you need to know. Anyways, so moving on. Where was I going? I'm gonna play you some clips of actual songs that I've recorded. First ever recorded songs. I changed the artist name to Kappa Karma, but they originally were named Kid Nor or something like that. Nora, Kid Nora. It was Kid and Nora. I just make up stuff, and making it up is probably my best. You know. Here we go. So I've made a lot of music. This one is one of the few first songs that I've ever made. Let's give it a little bit of lesson. Here we go. This song I made. Too much effect. This song I made way back in 2012, if anything. 2013 maybe, I don't know. But this is when I first acquired some money and got me a MacBook Pro, and then I got purchased a Logic Pro X. And this is when I first started using loops, Apple loops basically, to make a song. Now, on the mix check, I can only mix a limit of 4 loops. This is where I started using loops on Logic Pro X to actually make a song. And as an inspiration, I was inspired by artists who make songs longer than the usual 5 minutes. And I listened to some artists that would make songs up to at least 20 minutes or 8 to 20 minutes. So my songs originally that I made on Logic Pro X were very, very long. That's why I like sitting up here mixing music that I make. You guys see I'm getting bored. I'm like, what am I gonna do now? Let's get a music. I can dance around some bullshit. So there is a song that I made once again back in 2013 to 14 under the artist title that I do not use anymore called Kid Nora. And I spelled that Kid, K-I-D, and Nora, I spelled it N-O-R-A. So that is Systematic Invasion. That's when I first started making music on Logic Pro X, and my first step into introduction producing. I used Apple loops. I was, nowadays I like sometimes to mess around with the software synthesizers and the MIDI controllers and stuff. In a minute we'll bust up the MIDI controller and maybe work with that. Maybe on another video, but that is one of my very old songs. That's before I started calling myself Kappa Karma, or even acquired a mix deck mic and all this gear that I've worked very slowly to acquire over these years. So, let's switch gears. Like I was saying, I am very influenced by multiple artists. I've always was admired Sid Wilson from aka Number Zero from Slipknot. He was always record scratching and stuff. Fortunately, I can never afford a record controller. That's way beyond what I can acquire or afford at my budget level, which is nothing compared to money. Nothing. But now that I do have a mixtape, but I'm also fascinated about scratching. Like Sid Wilson, he would use effects on his record scratcher. Like he would use a wah-wah pedal, like a wah-wah guitar effect pedal, and he would hook it up to his mix deck, and he would, stomp on the wah-wah pedal as he's scratching to make it sound more, more digitally effective at the time. But what I do like about mixing is record scratching. Taking any audio file, maybe adding a little echo or delay, and just mixing. The clean sound of this actual loop that I'm using is pretty much this. Something like that. Now, normally artists would use a crossfader, which I'm not that experienced with, the shuffling side to side, so, Let's take out that effect for a minute. I'm not that perfect at it, but I've always liked the idea of taking loops or ideas and just mixing and scratching them. For example, what I would do instead of using the crossfader, which I'm not experienced with, the crossfader, so. What I would do is take a loop like this, clean sample, and and I would scratch it. And it's funny how you can sit there and take effects and just like reverb or echo, delay, stuff like that. I got that after feedback, the after effect feedback. So let's give some scratching a try here. I'm gonna play a song called Daylight Dealer. And I don't just work with electronic EDM and future house with. I do like hip hop beats and stuff too. I can, and I'm working on some hip hop stuff soon. Teaser and spoiler. But here's a song that I made, a short, 1 minute and 23 second song I made called Daylight Dealer. Hear my breath sounds like Darth Vader. This song is a song that I have released on all platforms. And just a disclaimer, I am a pro cannabis supporter. I don't smoke stuff, it's not legal things. This song is called Letter Joint.
You know what today's letter is? Sure, Kermit. Today's letter is
Joint.
joint. Correct, kid. Take it first. You know what today's letter is? Sure, Kermit. Today's letter is first. Joint is not a letter. It is a word. That's correction.
So that is a song I made, a hip hop song, a pretty medicinal idea of a song called The Leather Joint. Like I said, I am a pro cannabis legalization, supporter. But considering I am, I just for some reason at this point can't, anyways. So we're gonna change gears now, and we're gonna start looking at some loops and stuff that I produced. I mentioned earlier in the video. Back to the bottom. Here's some loops that I've recorded off of video games like Wolfenstein or Heretic. Like here's a loop that I made called Wolfenstein Anthem. Keep it down on my frame. If all you old school people like me remember this game. Old school video games. Let's get the Q button in there and go. Like I said, I gotta love that feedback. So now let's see, focus on a mix of some kind, a short, quick, into the video. First I'm going to find this beat out of all these other loops these are loops that I produced or made on Logic Pro X with it, whether it's a MIDI keyboard or other, forms, anyways. I'm trying to find that beat. One beat out of, oh, here it is, right here at the top. Here we go. Same generic beat. We're gonna add some really interesting sits. This is a synthetic chatter mod soundscape loop that I made. It's about 1 minute 44 seconds. Really just melodic on beats that I made. Let's try another sip. This one is called Nighttime Drive. It's a base. Pretty nice, yeah. So usually when I don't like to do it, I just turn it off. Try this. This is called Music Box Bass. So we'll do that. See, I made this one. I'll just try is a loop, it's called electric surge. It's a like a zapping loop effect. That's some of the loops that I made and handcrafted myself. And now I'm looking for a unique loop because, like I said, I am very influenced. I have multiple influences of many types of artists, ranging from genres like post rock to post metal, like Explosion Sky, Maserati Pelican, Russian Circles, other artists like Boards of Canada, Alphax Twins. Those my when I started listening to experimental electronica. Um, I do listen to popular music, Lady Gaga. Um, Kevin Rudolph. That song he did. What was it? I can't remember, but he did a song collab with Lil Wayne. It's one of my other favorite songs. But I like to use my mix deck as a modular synthesizer for audio files. That's literally the main idea of what I'm trying to accomplish here. Do something out of the box and something that what people normally just don't do. Well, most people who want to become a DJ or a wedding DJ or a radio DJ, they mix popular music, which I keep saying over and over and over and over and over again. That is not my style, considering I have a lot of friends, or at least 2 friends that say, please mix copyrighted music. I'm like, no. NF0W, no. So, trying to find this loop that I made is really interesting. This is the problem with these loops, because there are so many and they're so short that I can spend days just looking and looking and looking and looking. I think I put, sometimes to identify loops that are very important in these playlists, I put like punctuation points, like percent symbols or at or and symbols and stuff, or here we go. I think this is it. No, I don't think that's it, but here's one loop that I made. It's called Deep Chirp Pattern. I think I found it. It's called Portal Mod. And if I want to make a song out of this, just by itself, no beats, like your usual, 4-count beat. This is where I take a lot of modulations on Logical X, and I use them to make loops. Turn it down. Some people don't like this annoying music like that. So, those are some loops that I produced and made on my own time. There's a ton of them. But I plan to be doing more mixes with loops that I made rather than loops that I purchased, because I think with loops I purchased, it's everywhere, and it's also the same stuff. I pretty much use the same stuff over and over again. Some people are getting tired, so I'm gonna try to be more cinematic and more supersonic architecture audio mixing. There, so that is gonna do it for this video. So yeah, and I'm very influenced by a lot of artists. Not just, like I said, not just, I don't listen just to techno or you know and electronic music. Like I said, I originally started listening to heavy metal when I grew up back in high school. When I back before we had all these amazing iPhones or Androids or the Wing or all these phones with projectors built into them and stuff. So yeah, I'm very influenced. Like I said, if you're looking for new music, if you like rock or heavy metal, or listen to instrumental rock or instrumental metal or instrumental rock, like Explosion to Sky, Pelican, Russian Circles, or even a band that's named after the car, Maserati. So if you look it up on YouTube, you have to put Maserati the band. I'm very influenced in a lot of other, music and stuff. If I had to compare these weird synthesizer MIDI loops that I use, I have to compare it to the artists like Boards of Canada or Alphix Twins. So we're gonna leave you with one last song, and I think it's a song that I produced on Logic Pro X that is out currently on all social media music streaming platforms. Here it is. This song is called Retro Rider. So let's have to it. So yeah, there you have it. That is my style of mixing loops, making music, being more creative than mixing copyrighted music, which is, I honestly, no offense to people who do it wonderfully and who are excel at it, but I'm appalled by it. I would prefer to do something different and become something much greater than your average DJ. So once again, I'm an artist, not a DJ. To put that out there, I can't put that or to stress that enough. Trust me, I can't stress that enough. But that will do it for this video. Don't forget to check out Kappa Karma Music. That's Kappa Karma. Just look it up, Google it, and you can Google it, and you'll find tons of results. Don't forget, I got my friend, it's your boy Teej. Hope not too much of a spoiler there, but we got some good things coming soon, real soon. Apparently, I'm his new cameraman. And we're bringing more and new different things to the channel than just a bunch of mixes that are hours and hours long and stuff. I do have a habit of making long videos and long mixes and long songs. So don't forget to check out all my influences as far as music. And once again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and even ring that bell if you want. So this is Triz signing off.